Hello everyone, my name is Emilio Loriano. I'm currently the president of the board at Condado del Mar. We haven't been able to have an assembly meeting in a long time, and to be honest, we have no clue when we'll be able to have one because of this coronavirus quarantine measures. So I decided to do this president's report this way, just to be able to keep you guys informed of what's going on in the building. So what I plan to do is show you guys some pictures of the projects that we've been working on, give you a status. I'll give you an overview of what our finances are like right now. And at the end, I'll even talk a little bit about some projects that I think would be a lot of benefit to the building and that I think we'll be able to present to you guys by the next time we do have an assembly meeting. So we were going to have an assembly meeting back in March, but it got canceled because of the coronavirus. But at some point, we'll be able to have one because we need to have one. There's areas that we need people to vote on, such as the budget, such as the new board. But right now, we're keeping the same budget, we're keeping the same maintenance, and everything stays the same. By the way, if you need to get any information from the administration, right up here, you see the email for the administration office. You can email them with whatever needs you have for information. So this is our board of directors. We work everything as a team. It's important for you guys to know who they are. We have been doing a lot of work, and I'm not actively involved in every single little thing that happens in the building. So if there's something you'd like in the presentation, please be aware that some of these people should deserve the credit for them. Also, we have our administrator, Lynette Lopez and Elizabeth Cortijo. I think they've done a really wonderful job this year. We've had a lot of challenges that are not normal. We had the earthquakes, we lost power for 3-4 days, we lost water for 3-4 days, and now we're having the quarantine. And I think they've rise to the occasion. By the way, if there's something you don't like in this presentation, also please be aware that there's 6 more people that you can blame within the board of directors. So there's their names, you can call them and also complain. So let's start. By the way, we've had our lawsuit with the insurance company. We had an advance that they paid us, but our lawsuit continues. And for those of you who are interested in those kind of things, here's the number for the case, and it was filed on the 4th of March of this year. Our case continues. It was filed in the San Juan court system. And we're being represented by a law firm of the name of O'Neill and Borges. By the way, we also filed lawsuits against 6 of the owners in the building for lack of paying of maintenance and insurance. So by the way, we've been having a lot of litigation this year. I also wanted to mention that we have a Facebook page. It's the official Facebook page of the building. There's a couple other Facebook pages with the name Condado del Mar, this or that, and those are Facebook pages by different owners for them and their friends. But during the quarantine, it's better that we have an official page when you can get information directly from the board, and that's the page there. So if you could, please join that Facebook page so that you can follow and get all the latest information. Also, right up here, you have the email for the administration office. So as I mentioned, we got an advance from the insurance company, and we started doing some work. And the first work we did was the balcony in apartment 1002. The apartment balcony there was in really horrendous shape. The way those balconies were made, they were prefabricated. They were made somewhere else. They would bring them over, and with a crane, they would bring them up to whatever floor, and they would hold them with some metal brackets to the structure of the building. Now, those metal brackets right now are completely rotten in a lot of apartments. And the metal brackets is what you see here at the corner. And what ended up happening is we actually had to go into that apartment. We had to break the corners. The brackets were all rotten to the core. And we had to do new metal brackets, new rebar, break the concrete on the wall until we found rebar that was still in good condition, and then solder everything together. This was a project that was extremely expensive. It's not the kind of thing we want to do, but we have to do. It's actually not just expensive, it's tedious, and I'm sure it was horrible for the person who lives there because it took probably like 3 men a month working there. I'm sure it's horrible for your privacy. So as you can see, every single corner was completely rotten. We also had to redo the fence on Nair Street. Nair Street is the fence between Chili's and the building. It's the street that separates the building from, let's say, the hospital. Now, during the hurricane, that wall all got, really damaged. The sand and the wind pretty much stripped bare, exposing all the rebar, making the rebar even more rotted. So the rebar was no longer pretty much in good enough condition. So there's a risk that the wall is not going to be able to hold, and there was a risk to the community. So the reasons why we went along and just fixed this whole thing. So as you can see, it's a really long wall. So we had 4 or 5 guys, a contractor with 4 or 5 people working on that wall for about 4 months. Here you can see what the wall looks from within the cabana. So on the back of the cabana is looking out towards the hospital. Now on the left, you can see what the wall looks like now that it's painted and fixed. We also took the opportunity to change all the barbed wire that goes on top of it, and we did that all throughout. So here you can see a video of that wall looks like now. So you can see it's a pretty long wall, goes all the way down to the beach, and actually all the way, around as well. And all the barbed wire got changed as well. We also worked on the facade of the building. The facade of the building includes not just the concrete in front and around, but also the terraces. It's the brown area you see there. We had concrete falling from that section as well as that section underneath. And as you can imagine, that's concrete falling from 22 stories high. You can see in this picture, concrete falling from the front and also from under. We also had a lot of exposed concrete, a lot of exposed rebar. This is what the building looked like maybe 5 months ago. As you can see, we've had, other pieces of concrete also falling. This one fell right in between 2 cars. Fortunately, it didn't hit them because it would have done a lot of damage. You can see it's like pretty thick too and heavy, which is why very responsibly the previous board put this barricade around the building just to prevent, any more of the concrete falling and maybe hitting somebody. We've had concrete fall, but we've also had other things fall, especially windows. We've had a lot of issues with people with really old windows, with them falling into the ground. So we've had the scaffolding and people working on the scaffolding, just doing all this work. And what they do is they do a treatment on the rebar just to make sure the corrosion stops. They fix it, they seal it back neat. So this is that same section I showed you in the beginning, but now it's all fixed. And just a quick video of what the building looks like. We're an ugly building, mostly because we probably have 50 different types and colors of windows, but at least now we don't have exposed concrete or exposed rebar. And left, we still have to work on the overhangs of the terraces of the penthouses, and we haven't been able to finish that because we haven't had any workers for about a month and a half since the quarantine measures started. We also had to work a lot on the fences and gates. As you can see, our gates were in pretty bad shape. At some point, some of them were not even that functional anymore. This is the front towards Ashford Avenue, in front of where Marco's Pizza is. we had a section that got knocked down and a section that was completely robbed. So here you can see on the left what the new gate looks like. That's towards Eaton Street. And this is our front gate towards Ashford. That's brand new. And this is also brand new, the one going towards the basement. So we've been painting also all the common areas, exterior common areas. On the right, you can see what the previous color was. And the left, the white that we used this time. So in this video, what you can see here is the front gate that got replaced, the front fence, the front gate towards Ashford, all the painting that has been done, the gate to the basement that got changed and all that area got painted as well. More paint. And that's our electrical equipment. And I'll be talking about that electrical equipment in a little bit because that's part of the reason why we lost power by 3-4 days at the beginning of the year. So what I'm going to show you here is the seal that connects both slabs of concrete from the front and the back. And if you park in the basement, you probably know about this because the basement used to get flooded every time it would rain. We fixed that too. The tennis court, our tennis court fence was also affected a lot by Maria. And as you can see, we have completely redone the whole fence around as well. So we have a brand new fence for the tennis court. One thing that we haven't done yet and that needs to be done is to repaint and fix the surface of the tennis court. And the reason we haven't done that is we are going to wait until we paint the side of the building, because otherwise the paint, some of the paint is going to end up on the tennis court, and then we're going to have to do the work twice. So once the paint of the side of the building gets done, then we'll work on the surface of the tennis court. There was a water leak to the basement that I spoke to you before. That part in the middle is the seal where the water was leaking through. So everything got removed, all the previous seals, all the previous treatments they had done. We went down to the bare and just redid the whole thing, one whole piece. So this is a section of the building that used to, the basement that used to get flooded. Being in the building for about 12-13 years, since as long as I can remember, it used to get flooded. Right here in between those two yellow columns is where the water will come through. And this video was taken a day after it rained really heavily, so looks like it worked perfectly. The library. The library is one of those examples of stuff that I mentioned at the beginning. I don't get actively in deep into every single project. Sometimes, other members of the board take charge. And that's good. We need a team working in the building. And this is one example. I would have liked to be involved because I think it turned out well, and I like to take the credit, but I'm not the one who deserves it. It's Iris Rosario, our treasurer, and also one of the owners from the Cabanas, who's an interior designer, and they worked together on this, and they did a phenomenal job. Our pool. You can see here what our previous pool chairs looked like. They were in really bad shape. There were very few chairs left that were in good working condition. And at some point, repairing them was just not worth it. So what we did was we ordered 42 chairs. So I hope I don't hear not having enough chairs anymore. By the way, these chairs are commercial grade. They're typically sold to hotels. So they're made to withstand a lot of use, a lot of sun, and a lot of weight. They're also very easy to repair if one of them needs repairing. We also changed all the tables, the exterior tables by the pool. They were in really bad shape. A lot of them were broken. They have, what holds that concrete together is rebar. And some of these chairs and tables were 30 years old, so they were failing, and there was a risk that one of them could break and fall into somebody's foot. So we changed them all to new tables. They're white and blue so that they matched our new white and blue pool chairs. We also bought umbrellas for some of them. So these are some of the challenges we are currently dealing with. Right now we have the office closed, the tennis court closed, the gym closed, the pool is closed, even the lobby, we removed the sofas from the lobby so people don't congregate. But we're going to start opening the office, and these are the rules. Only one person at a time. If you need to go into the office, you need to wear a face mask. If you don't have one, then we're not going to let you in. And also, please keep your distance. I know that a lot of you have these personal relationships with people in the office. Please don't go there, wanting to give them a hug because you haven't seen them in a while and a kiss on the cheek. It's a time to be safe and keep our distance for the good of everyone. The office hours will be from 8 to 5 p.m. Now, typically packages go to the administration office and you pick them up from there. But right now what we have is the guard signing up for the packages. He stores them on the lock and key in the library. And so if you have received a package, just tell the guard who will get it for you. As you can see, we have the pool closed. Now, if you do need to do maintenance or insurance checks, you don't have to go to the administration office. You can just leave them. There's a mailbox by the door of the administration office. You can just leave your check there. Also, you can pay by phone. If you need to pay by phone, there's the email to the administration office. Just send them an email telling them, please give me a call on this date to pay by phone. Please do not put on the email your social security number, nor your credit card number, nor any of that. Just tell them to give you a call, they'll give you a call. By the way, you can also ask them to give you a form so that you can do direct deposit if you want. And then the check, the insurance money, the maintenance money will be deducted from your checking account automatically. You don't have to be sending us checks every month. So as you can see here in this video, we removed all the chairs from the pool, and also I'm going to show you some of the work that we're doing to repair the leaks from the pool. We had a major water leak, and we hadn't noticed before. I mean, I wasn't on the board this year, but we probably didn't notice before because, as you remember, last year the pool was closed for most of the year. But this year we've been noticing that we needed to fill the pool up, put water back into the pool every day. And so we knew we had a major water leak. We just didn't know where it was or how big it was. We had some guesses. So now what we ended up doing is we're replacing all the pipes that feed the pool, the water from the pool to the filters. What we found was that there wasn't just one leak, there was about 4 to 5 leaks. And also we're changing all the skimmers. Whether they were good or bad, we're just changing them because we're doing this work. May as well put in new skimmers so that the work lasts 10, 12 more years. By the way, what I realized once we got the auditor's report was that this year we spent a lot more money in communal water than we did in previous years. As I mentioned, the year before the pool was closed, so we probably don't have last year to compare it to. But if you compare it to 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, we spent a hell of a lot more water. So my guess is that now it makes sense to me. We were spending a lot more water because after the hurricane, we started having a major water leak from the pool. This year's the year that we filled up the pool, or at the end of last year. Now we're noticing, and we were probably spending, my guess, about $1,000 a month in water going into the pool. In this picture, you can see how big the work is, and also I wanted to mention, you can see what the condition of the surface of the pool is. The surface of the pool is like a plaster. In Spanish, they call it marmorizado. It's only meant to last 3 to 7 years. And why we always do it like that is we go the cheap route. That's the cheapest alternative. But that's, I'll talk about that in the end. I think we need to move to something more durable. After the hurricane, the pool was emptied because we didn't have electricity to be filtering all that water. Before refilling it, we did some patchwork just to fill up all the cracks. A lot of what you see there is all that patchwork. But also by having the pool be empty so long, it created new cracks. And that's why you see that surface look so horrible. But it's something that can be fixed. So in this video, you can see on the back end of the pool area, we changed the pool tables, we painted the fence. See, all the fences got painted, new pool chairs, and also you can see the work that's being done. So we had a major electrical issue at the beginning of the year, and the major electrical issue that happened was the line that feeds the building, where all the electricity for the building goes through, burned out. It's a cable that goes underground. It starts in a light post where St. John's School is. It comes underground to the building all the way to this equipment here. And what compounded the problem was that our electrical equipment is from 1968. It's 52 years old, and it was in horrendous condition. So once the new cabling we were able to put in the new cabling, they didn't power up. And it didn't power up because it's in horrendous condition. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. It's that equipment there that sits on the parking lot. And the way it's being explained to me, once we have an assembly meeting, we'll have the experts give you a report on what's going on. So the electricity goes to this box here. It's full of insulators, and it gets distributed to 3 different areas of the building. And what ended up happening was in 2 of those connections, they didn't work. So everything is actually going now through 1 connection. It's something to deal with. So what the board did was we automatically, as soon as we realized the condition that it's in, you can see here the actual condition of our electrical equipment from 1968. So we ordered new equipment. This is equipment that gets custom made. We order it in stainless steel, it would have been installed by now had we not had the stop of work because of coronavirus. I'll be getting an update next week, and we should have an idea of when we're going to install. By the way, the board from 2-3 years ago bought also new equipment for the cabanas that has yet to be installed. But when we do the installation for this one, we'll do the same one for the cabanas, and then we'll have new electrical equipment of the exterior part. And as I mentioned, we're going to have an assembly meeting back in March. Talking about this electrical equipment was item number 14 on the agenda. Once we have a meeting, we'll go through it and give you more details. So this is how we started the year. We started the year with 3 accounts: the operational account, which is where you pay most of your daily bills through. We had an emergency reserve account with $289,000, and we had a special assessment account, or the RAMA, with $282,000. That was a special assessment that got approved right after Maria. Now, we also had $140,000 in debt, and it's kind of to be expected that we were going to have debt because right after Maria, there was no electricity, people couldn't travel, we were not receiving the money from maintenance fees, but at the same time, the boards of that time were spending more than usual. I mean, they had to put back the building in condition. So it's normal that there was some debt that accumulated. They had to fix the building, they had to fix the elevators. And at the same time, there was less money coming in. So back probably like in August, September of 2019, you guys approved accepting the advance from the insurance and how we were going to spend it. So you guys approved that we were going to pay the adjuster. You approved spending $140,000 back to the operation account so we could pay down all the debt that got accumulated because of the hurricane. And that left us with $402,000 for repairs of the building. I can't stress this enough because somehow some people don't seem to understand, regardless of how many times it gets explained to them. The $600,000 was an advance. Our lawsuit continues. It has been filed. We have lawyers representing us. You can look up the case. I guess once we have an assembly meeting, we'll have the lawyers there, give you an update on the lawsuit. But once again, the $600,000 was just an advance. Our lawsuit continues. And it's just a really small amount compared to the whole amount that our lawsuit is for. By the way, the money from the advance goes into our hurricane repair account. It's a separate account from those other ones. We're not allowed by law to mix that money with any other money, and it can only go to repairs of the building. So this is how we started. So what we're seeing here is our current status of our financial situation. We started the year with $16,000 on our operations account. We have about 56 now. Our emergency reserve fund, we had almost 290,000. We have 324,000 now. Our special assessment account, $282,000. But if you guys remember correctly, the owners approved eliminating that special assessment. So the money got returned to the owners, and that's why it shows zero. Now in our hurricane repairs fund, we started with $600,000. The owners approved that assembly meeting to return $140,000 to the operations account for all the money that got spent to do hurricane repairs, and also approved paying for the adjuster as per the contract we had, which left us with $402,000. And from all the work that we've been doing for hurricane repairs that I've shown you, and a few more that I probably forgot, we have spent about $280,000, which has left us with $121,000 in our account. By the way, we have sent all the owners in the past a list of all the checks that have been made from that hurricane repair fund. So you should have gotten that by email, check by check, who got paid and what amount and for what reason. So this is a summary of the things we've been doing with your money. We repaired the facade of the building, and we've also been monitoring, I haven't mentioned this before, we've been monitoring the terraces of the penthouses. There's always been a fear that they could be leaning down since they overhang the building. So we have an engineer who has been going there once a month to take measurements of the amount of lean that the terraces have. And fortunately, we did that even before the earthquakes. So we have measurements from before the earthquakes, during the earthquakes, and afterwards. The good news is that it looks like we don't have to worry about it. It looks like it's in a good, safe condition. We changed all the pool chairs. We changed all the pool tables. We fixed the leak to the basement that has been probably going on for about a decade probably. We painted all the exterior walls of the parking area and the common exterior areas by the pool as well and the parking. We changed the front gate as well as the front fence. We reconstructed the whole wall of Marine Street. We changed the gate that goes to the basement. We replaced the fence of the tennis court. We are currently repairing the water leak of the pool, which was probably costing us $1,000 in water a month. We have raised the operations account from $16,000 to about $56,000 right now. We have been able to increase our reserve fund, and we're currently changing all the exterior electrical equipment. And by the way, we have no debt. The debt got paid down, and we have accumulated no debt. And by the way, we've also remodeled the library, and we fixed the balcony in apartment 1002. Now, work and projects for 2020. We have a quote for getting a full-size generator for the building. And we've had some consultants come in. We've looked at where to place the generator, a place that's perfect. It's not even that close to the building, so it's perfect. We have the cost, and at some point we also are looking for alternatives. But at some point when we're able to meet, we'll give you the full amounts and everything. And by a full-size generator, I mean a generator where you can have electricity as though the electricity hasn't gone out. So you can turn on your air conditioners, your stove, do laundry, whatever. Also, we need to repair and remodel the pool. The pool, as you can see on the picture on the left, the pool surface needs to be redone completely. It got completely damaged through the hurricane and from being exposed to the elements after the hurricane. It's only a matter of time until new cracks start developing and we start losing a lot of water through the pool itself. My suggestion would be at some point that when we do it, we don't go the cheapest way, and that we actually do a more quality work, and we actually do it in tile. Tile looks a lot better, visually looks a lot better, and it lasts a hell of a lot longer than the plaster, the marmorizado that gets done. And also, you save a lot of money on chemicals and cleaning, because tile is non-porous. So algae is not able to stick to it as easily as it does to the plaster. So anyway, we'll be presenting that to you as well. I hope you like the presentation, and please start thinking about these projects so that when they get presented that we're able to make decisions for the benefit of the building. Talk to you guys later. See you soon. Happy Mother's Day.